Hello, it's Karen Burniston here with an assembly video for one of our die sets. This is die number 1183, Little Labels Pop-Up, and you can check out all of our die designs at karenburniston.com. The Little Labels Pop-Up is purposely very slimline friendly. Your minimum height on your card needs to be 3.5 inches and your minimum width needs to be 6.5. So doing that standard slimline card of 8.5 wide by 3.5 tall works perfectly for the Little Labels Pop-Up. So I've started with a piece of cardstock 8.5 inches wide by 7 inches tall and scored it in the middle for folding. And then to that I'm adding some decorative pattern paper rectangles. I cut those using our long rectangles crosshatch die set. And I just picked up some gorgeous papers from the Carta Bella Gather at Home collection, so that's what I'm using on the card today. Next, I'm just going to die cut my pop-up. You can use any die cutting machine that can accommodate a wafer thin die, and today I'm using my Spellbinders Platinum 6. The Little Labels Pop-Up is a glue-in design. So what that means is that there are tabs that are used to attach it to the card. And on this one, there's actually 10 tabs. So I'm going to mark them with my pencil here so you can see them all. 3 at the top, 4 in the middle, 3 at the bottom. So now I'm going to start finding all the folds in the piece. And I'm going to start with those 4 small tabs through the middle. So each one of those has a tiny little score line to allow it to fold to the back. And just make sure when you're folding them that you are folding on the score line so that they are straight. Okay, next I'm going to move to the 3 tabs at the top. And again, those are going to fold to the back. So you're folding away from yourself as a mountain fold. And then around the top of each label, there are additional little score lines to allow those sections to fold to the back. At the bottom, once again, the tabs all fold to the back. So most everything in the Little Labels Pop-Up is a mountain fold, meaning you're folding away from yourself. There are these 2 long ones right here, so I'm going to fold those again away from myself to the back. And then the only 2 valley folds in the whole piece are the labels, the outer labels themselves. They come up, so if you just bring those back up into line again, that is the finished folding of the Little Labels Pop-Up. Really, really simple die. All right, now to add this to the card, I actually get to unfold everything, so I get to put it right back where I started again, completely flat. Once I have everything returned back out to where I started again in the flat position, then the 2 folds I'm looking for to line up in the fold of the card are these long ones here and here. And I do want those to be directly over the fold of the card. Now, one way that can help me make sure that I keep those right in the fold of the card would be to temporarily fold them the other way. So turn those into valley folds. And what's nice about that is it's real easy then to just stick your thumbnail into that valley fold, and then you can slide it along the card until it's centered or until it's in a location that you want. And then just making sure that absolutely nothing moves. We're going to start gluing down those tabs. So the process here is keep everything straight and aligned with the fold while you carefully add glue to the 10 tabs, kick them under, and press them to the card. You can do this process in any order on those 10 tabs, and you may experiment a little bit to decide whether you think it's easier to do the bottom tabs first, as I am doing, or maybe you find your method is that you like to start with the ones in the middle or the ones at the top. It doesn't matter as long as the piece stays straight, aligned with the fold, and that everything is flat as you kick those tabs under and attach them to the card. I am using my LINECO neutral pH adhesive in my fine tip bottle. We do sell both of those items on our website. Okay, so once those 3 bottom tabs are attached, you can see back behind there that they're all attached to the card. And now I just have to continue on and do the other 7 tabs. So now I am going to move to the top half of the card, again keeping everything nice and straight and flat. I'm going to work on the 4 tabs that are through the center. Now those are small little tabs, so I do think a dot of glue is the easiest, but you could try maybe a mini glue dot if you prefer a dry adhesive. And then just repeating that for the other 2 small tabs. So adhesive on the tabs, keep everything nice and flat, kick them under, and attach them to the card. With those tabs being so small, you got to just make sure that they are attached. They can pop off of there pretty easily, so just make sure that they are well attached to the card. And then the final 3 tabs are at the top. So just like with the other 7, adhesive on the tab, keep everything flat, fold the tab under, and attach it to the card. For some pop-up dies, you want to decorate them before you attach them to the card, but for the Little Labels pop-up, because you are attaching it in the completely flat position, it will return to that position again, making it very easy to add the decorative labels and things afterwards. So you do not have to decorate this pop-up before you add it to the card. So your first time training it to fold, you just want to make sure that as you start to close it, everything's coming up into that mountain position, because these folds here you had inverted into valley, so they may still be stuck in that valley position. So if you stick a little bone folder under there, just use your fingers just to make sure that that's coming outward like a box. The upper ones are coming outward. Everything feels like it's coming outward into the proper position. Then you can carefully close the card and give it a really good press in the closed position to train all those folds. So in addition to being easy, it has no theme. You could decorate this now for anything. The set comes with decorator dies, including these two, which can combine to decorate the bottom box. So I've cut the Fishtail Banner twice, the rectangle once, and I'm just brushing a little bit of ink around the edges. I start with the Fishtail Banners, and I put them in the outside section and have them pretty close to the fold at the top. Then I use the rectangle in the center, and it's close to the fold at the bottom. And then it's going to give the illusion of a folded ribbon going across the bottom of the pop-up. There are 4 different size decorative labels in the set that can be combined in different ways. For 2 of the sizes, you actually get 2 dies. So for those outer 2 most common sizes that you'll use, you actually have double on the dies. I'm definitely being heavily inspired by the card that I made for the packaging of the Little Labels pop-up. So I'm swapping out the colors. I decided to do a full-length slimline instead of the shortened one like this one, but I'm using the same decorator pieces. And that starts with the new big birthday charms. In the center label, I'm adding the slice of cake. Then I've got a balloon on a string and then a birthday candle. And for the balloon and the birthday candle, I also mixed in the decorator pieces that come included in the Little Labels pop-up, because there is 2 size hearts and a bow in that die set, and those can be combined nicely with those big birthday charms. And then I just add my decorated labels to the pop-up. And because I have a floral paper, I decided to also mix in some of the small flowers from our tree pop-up, just sprinkled throughout the card. And that's what's so lovely about using dies as embellishments, because you can customize the colors and styling to perfectly match the colors and theme of your card. Okay, a couple strips of pattern paper and another layered label for the lower half of the card, just as a place to sign it. And then I kind of changed my mind and decided I wanted to add in one of the trims from our new Border Blends Trims die set. So luckily I hadn't completely tacked down that label, and I could slide the border underneath and get it attached to the card. Then I repeated that element by layering 2 strips of pattern paper for the upper half of the card. I just had to go much thinner on that one. I added a couple more trims to the piece, one on the front there of the pop-up, and then sprinkled in some flowers throughout the scene. My favorite way to make card fronts is just to take my leftover materials and kind of repeat elements to make a simple lead-in. So in this case, I used the birthday charms again and the trims and the long crosshatch rectangles. And then for a greeting, I used our script Happy Birthday. We now have a new Happy Birthday shadow to fit it. My finished card is a slimline size, so 8.5 inches wide by 3.5 inches tall. It will fit in a number 10 envelope for mailing. The Little Labels pop-up is very slimline friendly, but you do not have to make a slimline card. You could easily put this in a 5x7 card. This one is actually 7 inches on the width. It's still slimline size, 3.5 inch on the height, but you could have just extended that to make a 5x7. Now let's look at some Little Labels pop-up inspiration by our very talented design team. For the front of this card by Kelly Booth, she's mixed in our new Crosshatch labels set, which is the same shape as the Little Labels pop-up, so a really good add-on set for this die. And then inside, she's added those big birthday charms plus the Border Blends trims to the Little Labels pop-up. Another card by Kelly where she shows that you could take one of the smaller labels and cut out of the pop-up so that it becomes just a floating frame. A pretty Christmas themed card by Lois Bach, where she's added some of the little elements out of our pivot panels die sets to the front of the little labels. And then a pretty Christmas card by Fran Sabad. Now this one's a slimline, but it's actually a 4x9 slimline, so that still fits in that number 10 envelope. I absolutely love how Karen Aiken has repurposed the birthday candle out of the big birthday charms to make a Hanukkah card. Frances Byrne covered the outer two labels with circles for a golf-themed card. Sandy Diller cleverly cut our big word howdy into ho 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 to fit the little labels pop-up. Another card by Frances, this time featuring our new Bayou animals. Frances is really showing how well our animal die sets fit the little labels. This one is our safari animals. So animals and charm sets are going to fit the little labels perfectly. This card by Lois Bach shows the space charms. You could use pre-mades, you can use paper, you can use stickers. Lots of ideas for using the little labels pop up. This is a great card by Karen Aiken. Karen also made this card, and it is not a slimline, so there's that bigger size card, this time with really sparkly elements. The Little Labels pop-up is available now at a lot of your favorite local and online retailers, as well as on our website, KarenBurniston.com. Thanks for watching. If you click on the website link, you'll go to KarenBurniston.com, where you can purchase these dies as well as find links to our other social media accounts. You can subscribe to this YouTube channel and check out some of my other videos. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.